Let me just ask you, are you confused about this message?
I'm not confused, and I'll add that even if it was ambiguous and could mean different things to different people, Senator, can you imagine if there was a phrase that also meant kill all the black people? Would we be okay with projecting it because it might also mean something else to someone else?
You don't think that's hate speech right here? I mean,
long live the Intifada can mean different. As I see the problem,
it can mean different things. Wait a minute. These are protests, violent protests on campuses that targeted Jewish students, attacked them personally, prevented them from going to camp, going to class, put them in fear of their safety after the October 7th attacks on the state of Israel that murdered more Jews than at any time since the Holocaust. And you're saying you think that this is an ambiguous message?
I'm saying that any...
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Berry, let me just start with you. You said in response to a question from, I think it was Senator Graham, you praised the protests going on campuses. I just want to make sure I got this right, so you correct me now, as a national organic human rights movement. What did you mean by that?
The mass movement in support of Palestinian human rights is happening on college campuses across the country after students are learning more about the history of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict and the specific targeting of Palestinian human rights. Yes.
Oh, okay. I just want to be clear about what you're praising and not praising.
Well, praising.
Let's have a look here. So,
yeah.
This long live the Intifada.
Yeah.
Is this an example of the what did you say, national organic human rights movement that you mean? Is this a human rights movement?
I'm not sure that using the term Intifada, which literally just means to like shake off or get rid of, is effective. As most Americans don't actually associate it with a human rights issue, so I don't think that's effective. No, Senator.
Wait a minute. You don't think it's effective, but you would agree that this is calling for the destruction of the state of Israel. This is after the October.
No, Senator.
No, it's not. This isn't calling for the killing of Jews.
I don't know that person, and I don't know that sign. So
you don't know what this means?
I don't. Think
you haven't seen this before. Did you see these protests on Rabbi? Do you know what this means?
Yes, it's a call for the destruction of the state of Israel and probably the killing of Jews everywhere.
I do not agree with that, Senator.
You don't think that's hate speech right here?
Long live the Intifada can mean different. As I see the problem,
it can mean different things. Wait a minute. These are protests, violent protests on campuses that targeted Jewish students, attacked them personally, prevented them from going to camp, going to class, put them in fear of their safety after the October 7th attacks on the state of Israel that murdered more Jews than at any time since the Holocaust. And you're saying you think that this is an ambiguous message?
I'm saying that any student targeted on campus, a Jewish student...
Will you condemn this right here? Right here. Long live the Intifada. Will you condemn that? I'm condemning
Jewish students on a campus is being targeted, and the Office of Civil Rights should successfully be given funding.
Will you condemn this as hate speech?
I think that can be hate speech, but I don't think it's automatically hate speech. The problem is that there's nuance I'm trying to introduce to this conversation.
What's the nuance when these people are marching and calling for Jews to be killed?
Sir, because Intifada also means uprising for Palestinians. The way
so it's ambiguous, so it's hard to say. Well, my gosh. Okay, let's try another one. What about this?
Please, audience will please...
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's fine. We know what you think. Right, exactly. I mean, I think you've made it clear. Those who were cheering earlier when Senator Cruz was asking about the attempts to destroy and kill Jews. Let's just be clear about what's going on here, because here's what's happening at this hearing. We can't talk about anti-Semitism without also talking about something else. The message that's being sent today at this hearing today is anti-Semitism isn't enough. The attempts to kill Jews on campuses, that's not a conversation worthy of discussion. You've got to add something else to it. So if you want to kill Jews, oh, well, we can't talk about that unless we also talk about 15 other things. And now we have a witness sitting here who will not condemn the attempts on these campuses that are blatantly anti-Semitic tropes, Nazi tropes to try and kill Jews. What about this one? There's only one solution. Is that a national organic human rights movement?
No, sir. I trust that's in reference to Holocaust, and that's
I would think the final solution. Okay, what about this? What about this? Glory to our martyrs.
Again, I don't understand the point of messaging like that. I don't know what that means.
Would you condemn this as anti-Semitic? This was projected here in Washington, D.C. on the campus in front of Jewish students following the October 7th massacre.
I think that that is not appropriate speech at a time.
There's hate speech in the context, don't you think?
Sure, but the point is I would prefer to focus on the issue of hate crime. That's the reason I'm saying that.
This is a hate crime. When you threaten to kill Jews and destroy the state of Israel, that's hate speech.
No, threatening
that's
to
a
kill,
hate crime.
Threatening to kill anyone, including Jews, is
let's not pretend that it's ambivalent or ambiguous or we're not sure. How about this one? Free Palestine from the river to the sea.
That's not hate speech, sir.
You don't think that this is a call for the destruction of the state of Israel?
Again, I can speak to what I think, which is amazing because I'd love to talk about what I think, but I really think the focus of our hearing.
You don't think that after the October 7th attacks, when this was projected in front of a group of Jewish students right here in the District of Columbia, you don't think that's an attempt to intimidate them and call for the destruction of the state of Israel?
Focusing on hate crime, I would say if that were displayed on a synagogue, then it's a hate crime. If it was displayed on a Hillel, then it's a hate crime. If it's displayed elsewhere, I trust its speech.
Well, and then we wonder why our students are confused. Rabbi, let me just ask you, are you confused about this message?
I'm not confused, and I'll add that even if it was ambiguous and could mean different things to different people, Senator, can you imagine if there was a phrase that also meant kill all the black people? Would we be okay with projecting it because it might also mean something else to someone else?
A Senate hearing on anti-Semitism took a dramatic turn when Senator Josh Hawley challenged a witness over anti-Israel slogans and protests that erupted on college campuses following the October 7th Hamas attacks. The center of the exchange was one question. Are these chants protected political speech or are they anti-Semitic calls for violence against Jews? Here's what happened. The exchange began after the witness described the wave of pro-Palestinian demonstrations on college campuses as a national organic human rights movement. Senator Hawley immediately asked what that meant. That he then displayed protest slogans that had appeared during demonstrations and asked whether those messages represented the movement the witness had praised. The witness argued that some of the phrases could have different interpretations and said many Americans may not understand their intended meaning. But Hawley wasn't convinced. That he argued that several of the slogans had become widely associated with calls for the destruction of Israel and, in some cases, violence against Jewish people. Hawley then focused on whether those slogans should be condemned as hate speech. That he pointed to protests that took place after the October 7th attacks, saying Jewish students were harassed, intimidated, and in some cases prevented from freely accessing parts of their campuses. The witness responded that context matters and warned against assuming every slogan automatically carries the same meaning. Hawley repeatedly asked for a direct condemnation of the messages. The witness acknowledged that threatening violence against Jewish people would be unacceptable but maintained that some expressions could have multiple interpretations depending on the context. The disagreement reflected a broader national debate over where the line should be drawn between protected political speech and anti-Semitic intimidation. One by one, he asked whether they should be condemned. The witness rejected some of the language as inappropriate but repeatedly emphasized that he preferred to focus on actual hate crimes rather than interpreting every slogan in the same way. Hawley argued that failing to clearly condemn these messages sends the wrong signal to Jewish students who already feel threatened on campus. That he warned that ambiguity could normalize rhetoric many people view as promoting hatred or violence. That if you're enjoying this breakdown of today's biggest political hearings, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest.
No, I mean, well said, well said. I'm almost done, Mr. Chairman, but let me just ask, since the witness talked about a national human rights movement, let me just ask about a couple others. University of North Carolina chapter of Students for Justice in Palestine claimed, "It is our moral obligation to be in solidarity with the dispossessed, no matter the pathway to liberation they choose to take. This includes violence." Would you condemn that?
I'm sorry, was that for me?
Yes. It is our moral obligation to be in solidarity with the dispossessed, no matter the pathway to liberation they choose to take. This includes violence. You condemn that?
I certainly condemn violence.
Good. You condemn that statement?
I condemn violence. I have no interest in engaging in this back and forth about individual statements of students.
You know what? I do have an interest in it, and here's why. What I just read to you, the United States Senate unanimously condemned this rhetoric. And unless we take a stand now on this rhetoric, on this specific rhetoric out of the mouths of these students that you have called National Organic Human Rights Movement protesters, we are going to send the message that trying to kill Jews on campus, trying to prevent Jews from going to class on campus is just okay. It's just another viewpoint.
Senator,
it's not just another viewpoint. And frankly, what you're trying to do here today, I think, is wrong.
Your time has expired.
Deeply wrong, sir.
Senator Kennedy. Thank you, Mr.
Congressional highlights. Near the end of his questioning, Hawley cited statements from a university chapter of Students for Justice in Palestine that appeared to express support for violence as a path to liberation. When asked directly, the witness said he condemns violence. But Hawley argued that simply condemning violence wasn't enough. He pointed out that the U.S. Senate has previously voted unanimously to condemn rhetoric that encourages violence or intimidation. Hawley closed by warning that if leaders refuse to clearly reject this type of language, it risks sending the message that targeting Jewish students is just another acceptable viewpoint on campus. The hearing highlighted the continuing national debate over free speech, campus protests, and anti-Semitism. Supporters of Hawley's questioning argue that anti-Semitic rhetoric should be condemned without hesitation, while others maintain that political slogans must be evaluated in context and protected speech should not automatically be equated with threats of violence. Where should the line be drawn? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth coverage of the biggest moments from Congress.